right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Triaxle podcast. Today, we're mixing it up today. This is the first podcast we are doing from our mobile podcast trailer. We just finished an awesome event, the Magnum Stone Clinic, that we sponsored along with Tier Zero. So I am here today with Rick Masters of Masters Concrete Products.
Masters Ready Mix.
Masters Ready Mix. I was just gonna keep it under the Masters umbrella, but I like to
we'll call it Masters.
Call it Masters.
It's easier.
And also Alain
Michaud.
Alain Michaud of Magnum Stone.
He's Canadian.
Don't hold it against
Don't hold it against. Don't tune it out just yet. This could be a good one. So we just had a great event. We did a little clinic. We brought a bunch of guys in from the tri-state area and did some Magnum Stone introduction, and we built some walls outside talking about the product, the benefits, and the usefulness of the product to the construction industry. So I'm here with these guys, and we're going to have a little chat after the event here and hear about their venture into the Magnum Stone world and how we got here. So Rick was on our podcast earlier this summer. Rick, just a brief intro.
Yeah. Rick Masters, Masters Concrete, Masters Concrete Products, Ready Mix and Precast, here in Oliphant. Manufacturers of Magnum Stone retaining wall systems. I was on your show a couple months ago, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a hit.
Thanks for having me back.
Number 2. And this is Alan's first time here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Alan. Where do you come from? What's your background? And
it's a long journey.
Yeah, it is. It is the shortened version.
Yeah. So I'm the president of Magnum Stone and Cornerstone Wall Solutions. I've been in the industry for 22 years now, approximately. Once you're blockhead, you're in. That's it. You just can't get out.
There's no getting out.
And I think it's about the people at the end of the day. That's why I love this industry. I love the camaraderie, everybody's kind of willing to help each other out no matter where you are in the world, actually. It's pretty cool. There's a bit of a brotherhood when it comes to hardscaping and retaining walls, and just couldn't get out of it. So my background is actually a diploma in civil engineering. Engineering is as fun as it sounds. It's not a very dynamic kind of a business. So I ended up working for a concrete producer, Expocrete Oldcastle, way back in the day. It actually wasn't Oldcastle then; it was Expocrete, small, family-owned business. And I was their technical sales manager. Kind of grew into this retaining wall side because of obviously the civil engineering, and kind of grew that business in Alberta, in Canada. Became the sales manager for the company. And along the way, I met Vern Duick, who was the inventor of Cornerstone 100 32 years ago. Loved what he did, loved the business, loved the block, and I was doing a lot of preliminary designs and engineering for it. And I couldn't get out. So eventually I left Expocrete, and Vern came back and offered me a job. And I worked for him for about 4 years. Took a small hiatus and said, if I ever come back, or if you're ever interested in selling or partnering into something, that we could work together. So I did that, came back and bought into the business. And about 3 years ago, he retired, and I bought him out. We developed products together, try to kind of create, one thing that Vern always talked about was that the products were for the contractors. And I really want to take that and keep it going as we grow the business. We currently have about 44 manufacturers in 10 countries. And the number one thing we always hear is that the contractors love the product. They love installing it. They love, the efficiency of it. So for a producer to pick up something like that and be able to sell it to a contractor and say, hey man, this is for you. We're trying to make this as user-friendly as possible. Is what we try to do. And we're also trying to make it look really cool. So we got some really nice, face textures with Magnum Stone. And I think, our producers like Rick are doing just a phenomenal job and starting to really get some wind under our sails.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Vern's a super interesting guy, world traveler. But he was a retaining wall contractor, right?
Yeah.
And so he wanted to make something better for contractors. It just fits the contractors so well. And, when we were looking at different retaining wall lines that we could potentially produce, Alan and Vern came to see us, and we looked at other lines, but this one seemed to be the simplest, best looking, and just made the most sense for everybody. And, after producing it now for 4 years, that seems to be the case. People love it.
Yeah.
The contractors love it. The owners love the look of it once it's done.
Yeah.
It's great.
One of the big goals as well is to keep things kind of environmentally friendly, and having that hollow core, it just goes through all the line of the system. So from shipping to production to installation. So you don't need huge equipment to install an 8 square foot block. You can just do it with a small Kubota. And then with shipping, you can get 40% less concrete on that truck. So I mean, it all trickles down. So you got a big job. I think one of your salesmen was saying how many loads they were able to save just recently.
I think it was almost 50 loads.
Yeah,
50 trailer
that's
loads.
significant. You're talking about all that
a lot
shipping
of freight.
cost and freight. Yeah,
Fuel, emissions, everything that goes
all
along
that
with it. So
all that goes
that.
along.
not only is it a solid product, but also environmentally, it is. There's a big benefit to it.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, so it's some pretty big advantages to that. And then the other side that Magnum has that is really unique is the extenders. So we've got these little extensions that attach to the back of the hollow core. We've got a 4-foot extension and a 2-foot extension. And the 4-foot has a groove or a notch, and you can attach another 4-foot and another 4-foot and another 2-foot. So you can kind of customize those tails on the back of it. And the reason we do that is so that we can do gravity walls. Now, a gravity wall versus a geogrid wall. A geogrid wall, typically speaking, you're going to go up, say it's a 10-foot tall wall, you're going to have about 7 feet of excavation, 6 feet minimum. With a gravity wall, we've been able to eliminate that to about 40 to 50%. So now you're saving land, you're saving time, you're saving excavation, you're having to not have to re-prep that and recompact it again. You can basically just put the block in these extenders behind with that drainage gravel. It's a huge savings all around. Developers love it. Homeowners love it. So we've seen a huge market. I mean, Rick can attest to that.
Yeah, land is valuable. You get into the more populated areas, and you need to use every square foot of that valuable property.
Every square inch in some cases.
Every square inch. It's huge.
We looked at, we talked about a project at the clinic today where Magnum Stone allowed the business, its big refrigerated warehouse, and in a populated area, 30 extra feet of building. I mean, that's huge. That is huge.
That's
absolutely.
That's truck parking. That's employee parking. That's
product.
Yeah, product. I mean, that's a lot of space. That's a big deal.
Like you said, every square inch counts in this industry. I mean, walls are a nuisance. Nobody wants a wall at the end of the day. They're expensive. They take up a lot of space. So whatever square inch we can save on that parking lot or that development site, maybe they can get an extra lot in. That's huge,
Sure.
So that's kind of what we're trying to do is deliver solutions. So that's where we've seen the most growth, I would say, is with those extenders and the gravity walls. We still have GeoGrid, positive connection for those really high, the high tall walls, DOT walls and stuff like that. So it's really about the solutions that we're trying to offer for engineers and installers alike, which it's been really good.
Neat. So Rick is one of your top 5 producers
In the U.S.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
Nice. So what other territories do you have now? Where is it being sold and manufactured?
We're in South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Canada, U.S.,
soon to be Puerto Rico, right?
soon to be Puerto Rico. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Hopefully right away here.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's
Very good.
it's definitely a growing market. That's for sure. The 40% savings actually. So we have a producer in Martinique in the French Caribbean. So he used to do you guys call them mafia blocks or Lego blocks.
That's how we got into this business.
The bin
Right.
blocks.
Yeah. So
bin blocks.
So he's now switched everything over to Magnum Stone because you can save 40% of the concrete He's like, man, on these little remote islands in the Caribbean, like concrete is extremely expensive.
Sure.
So just that 40% alone, he's like, I'm able to cut my cost in half, even though it's 40% concrete. I can ship it farther. I can install it with smaller equipment. He's like, I'm done with the Mafia blocks. I'm only going to be doing Magnum stone from now on.
I'm sure that the materials for concrete are extremely hard to come by. Cement, I'm sure it comes in by ship. And
exactly.
Wow.
They got all the aggregates they need. They just don't have the powder, which is extremely expensive. And the water.
So not only are you providing like a convenient, aesthetically pleasing, easy to work with product, but you guys are literally changing markets. You're changing the way these guys do business.
We're doing our best. You know, one thing we really pride ourselves on is our service as well. So our producers send us drawings and plans, and our team of engineers come back and send full-blown, preliminary designs. We can't stamp, obviously, liability issues. We have local engineers stamping. But yeah, we're trying to service, so they have all the tools that they need to go out to market, whether it's the softwares for engineering, the service for the marketing, the case studies. It's like a one-stop shop kind of thing for our producers. I mean, if they're successful, we're successful. That's one thing that we really do pride ourselves on with our, Cornerstone dry cast to Magnum stone wet cast, is that we want every producer to be kicking butt. We want to do that together, which I think is a big difference between maybe some of our competitors where they're just collecting. We don't collect until they collect and do really well,
That's right. That is hugely valuable to us and the contractors, the help, the background assistance and getting the takeoff. So, these guys don't really want to think about that part, but you give them a few basic measurements and we send it off to you, and back comes a drawing.
With the
helps
block
us,
count.
block count, block fill, gravel quantities, and honestly, the local engineers appreciate that too. If they're new to Magnum stone,
they don't know how many base blocks and
they
how many half
don't
highs
understand the system. So you get that for them and they love it. They love it.
I have to say, as a former contractor that's done a lot of retaining walls, lakefront, hillside, I mean, I've done some very difficult projects. One of the downsides to working with certain products or getting on a bigger scale project is the engineering side and understanding the design and even being able to bid the project appropriately without going through the cost of getting an engineer involved just for a bid. Like if somebody would come at me, let's say the project wasn't pre-spec, it wasn't designed by engineers. It's, these would typically be residential projects where they want to do a certain wall. For me to look at that, I can say, well, yes, I can build that, but I really, would like to have somebody's input on that. But I'm not going to go out and hire an engineer for X amount of dollars just to do a bid.
Exactly. Yeah.
So for you guys to do that as part of the package and as part of the service, I mean, there's a ton of value in that. I can just see where that would be extremely appreciated by your end user, your contractors, and there's a lot of products out there. You can buy it, but that's all you can do, and it's up to you.
You're kind of standing at a set of plans and going, well, how many square feet is this? What, 1,000 square feet? And we're like, how do you throw a number at that?
Yeah.
It's
What
really
else am I
difficult.
forgetting?
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
never mind the amount of truckloads and all the rest of it, right?
Yeah, and you guys turn that around very quickly.
Yeah, we got a really good team behind us that are supporting our producers, and we're all in it together, basically, the way that I look at it.
Yeah, and a lot of engineers don't deal with retaining walls, so that I've had cases where got local engineers on the phone with your people and help them understand what they're doing, and it's a nice fit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what's your territory? Where are you at territory-wise here in Northeast PA, Rick? What's your radius?
We generally say we can ship and, be competitive with other systems within 3-hour radius of Scranton here.
So depending on where you're going, maybe 150 miles or so?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the advantage of the hollow core. If we would not be able to travel as far if it was a solid block,
Sure.
Yeah, and to give the people that are listening an idea, a solid box about 1,400 pounds, 8 square feet, 4 feet wide, 2 feet high, 2 feet deep. So just to give a little bit of scale for the people that are listening, I guess.
Yep.
So
8
they can
square
ship
feet.
that.
Yep. And, I won't get into how beneficial that 8 square feet is to the contractor at this point, but
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So what are some of the more involved, intricate, what are some of the cooler projects that you have personally delivered your block to in your territory?
there's been quite a few recently. Up at Skinny Atlas Lake and in the New York State Finger Lakes region. It's probably our biggest job we've done yet, and it's a residential project. 3 big tiers on the lake. They're going to build a house on that birthday cake, I call it, that they've built. It's 3 tiers, then the house. There's another wall behind it. It's extremely steep property. Anything around the lake's usually a challenging building site. There's a big stream that comes down through the middle of the property, and they use the Magnum stone as the bridge abutments to cross the stream. And our team here actually precast the bridge deck for the driveway, and there's a second bridge deck for pedestrian path across that stream. So that looks really awesome. We put Magnum stone texture on the pedestrian bridge, so the sides of it all blends in with the Magnum stone. Just the logistics of that job and the challenging site, just for the contractor to get the material to where they need to go was pretty impressive. Definitely have to do a case study on that one.
Yeah. How tall is it? All 3 terraces, roughly?
That'd be 40 feet.
Yeah. It's pretty phenomenal.
If not more.
We're going to hold you to that too.
Okay. Fact check.
38 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And what about you? I mean, you've seen all of the impressive ones. What have you seen that's just really gotten your attention?
Well, other than the one that Rick just talked about was really cool. New Zealand, they've done some incredible stuff over there. A lot of it is seismic, so you got positive connection retaining walls. There's 2 bridges. 2 foundation walls holding up a bridge. It's up in northern New Zealand, and it's a waterway that goes out to the ocean. So all the little mini yachts can kind of go through. And there's 8 feet buried in the water, and it's 2 terraces, total of 18 feet tall. Just a marvel of engineering that's gone into that wall, or those 2 walls.
I think those are the cool ones where they're the water applications.
Yeah.
Whether they're for culverts or stormwater retention, Magnum stone excels in those situations because of the hollow core. They're super cool projects. I would love people in our market to get more familiar with how versatile the block is and these unique things you can do with them. It's not just I built a retaining wall, I'm done. This ability to handle water and water applications is fantastic.
Erosion control, stormwater, all that is such a huge. I mean, you can't develop a site anymore without having to deal with some sort of water application. So we're trying to find those solutions for people and show them what's being done out there in the construction industry. So we're seeing a lot of headway in those areas, a lot of growth in those areas, and it's kind of like we have to. So that's been a lot of fun, actually.
I think little plug here, but it would be huge if Magnum stone was a PennDOT approved material.
PennDOT.
Just think of the different applications in our roads and highways, whether it's, our roads around here, you have a lot of slides where they have to rebuild the side of the road because it's all sliding down the hill. Perfect situation for that.
Yeah, we do a lot of they call them slip repairs in New
Slip
Zealand.
And slide.
Slip and slide. And the thing about that is it's so much faster. I mean, you got your block ready to go. You dig your site out, you have your prep done, and you just start installing block rather than have to come in and do form work, get the rebar guys in, and then get the concrete guys in, and then you got to come and take assuming that everybody's ready to go. I mean, it's very rare that these guys are actually mobilized and can come in and take it down. So, I mean, you're talking weeks to get these little tiny repairs done that hold up the traffic for this local town that can't get in, where Magnum Stone is a huge solution for that, where it's ready to go, precast. It's a big advantage for that.
For sure.
So I would assume you guys are pre-approved in other states?
Yeah, we've got DOT approval. I want to say about 6 states right now. We're working on it constantly. DOT is a fun little animal.
Yeah, and they move really fast.
Yeah, they move so
It's
fast.
so quick to adopt.
You get that
new
application
things.
in, and man, they respond the next day.
Yep. Yep. Just like your taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes the same way.
So yeah, I know we're definitely trying to get as much DOT approval we can, and sometimes it's held up by the producer getting the NPCA certification, or it's the DOT waiting to certify the plant, and so there's a lot of nuances with that. But we do have quite a few DOTs already, either in application or approved or in the process.
Cool. Good deal. So what was you guys spoke, both of you spoke today. What were the main things that you tried to drive home to some of the guys that weren't familiar with the product, some of the newer guys? Like what are the main takeaways that you hope they got today that our listeners could also
You want to
take?
go first?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
For me, it was about having the solutions. These guys don't have to just really think about, well, what can I use it for? It's like, you know what, you got a wall. Magnum Stone could do it. It can solve it. Talk to one of the master's reps, and we got the solution for whatever problem that you've got. I really wanted to drive home the hollow core, and to them to not be afraid of it, to be like, oh yeah, the drainage is in the block. We need to put drainage gravel behind. We can just put it right inside that hollow core. So yeah, it was really about the solutions at the end of the day that we're trying to provide to all of these different problems. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're dealing with is problems, right?
Yeah, engineers are there to solve problems. Magnum Stone solves problems. And again, I can't overstate it enough how that hollow core makes it such a versatile product for challenges you face, whether it's water applications. If you need a different type of structure that you can concrete core fill it and steel reinforce it, soil nailing, positive connection, all those things you can do with just one block. You don't need different special blocks for any of that.
Yeah. And I was also trying to say, send us your plans. If you've got a job and you're like, I'm just not sure, send them to Masters and let our engineering team take care of it for you and see if it is a solution. It's that easy at the end of the day. Don't have to use it. I mean, just be like, well, yeah, it's, that works out quite well. A lot of times we're seeing, like there's a project that we did for an unnamed theme park in Florida that we're not allowed to say the name of.
Okay. But one of the biggest.
One of the biggest.
Can
Yeah.
you put the censored thing over it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that work?
Yeah.
And they had, I was telling the story during my presentation. They had 12 days to rebuild it was about 4,000 square foot retaining wall, 14 feet high at the max. And it was obviously, the ride is down. So they got to get this thing fixed really quickly. So they used Magnum Stone as their first time using it. They were trying to give themselves 10 days because they had 12 that they could get this thing done. They bagged up all the aggregate into 1 yard bags. They stacked the blocks 3 high. And they were cutting the bags to drop the stone right inside. So it was really easy to kind of mobilize in and out. They brought all the blocks in 2 at a time. They were out of there in 6 days, all done.
Wow. Far exceeded their expectations.
Yeah. And so what I was trying to tell the contractors was like, as much as you might be afraid of the price of the block, well, the labor was way down and they were on to the next job. So, they're now making money on the second job, where maybe if it took them all 12 days, it's still they're going to have a good profit margin. Well, now that profit is going into the next job where they're already mobilized and building again. So if you get an extra 3-4 jobs a year by using Magnum Stone, that's a big deal. You've completed some good projects.
That's a great point. Matt started with a question, and my next thing in my head was labor. Especially, we don't have to talk big site contractors or developers here. Local guys, most of our customers, 2-3 man crews, and that's all you need to build a wall. A lot of pretty good sized walls I've seen built by 2 guys, and with a tough labor market and people wanting to do that kind of work with the smaller blocks that you stack by hand, a lot of these guys already have a mini excavator or some small pieces of equipment, and that's really all they need to get started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of labor, and nobody wants
Yeah.
to show up and huff blocks all day. As much as we love them, there's just nobody out there that wants to do it anymore.
There was a time that I really liked it. I just really enjoyed
Now
it.
your back doesn't like it that much.
No, well, two points on that. One, the machine size, the mobile equipment. We did when we were doing our excavation. We did excavation, and we also had a dock building business. So we did a lot of lakefront retaining walls, segmented blocks. We did some of your competitors. We did some bluestone walls, or bluestone like boulder walls. But there was one particular job the customer wanted the best application, the best product for the application was a precast block, because we were setting it down in the water. We had to key that hill in with the wall into the waterway, and all I could get down to that site was a mini and a skid steer. So we had to skid everything from the road, probably 100 yards from the road down to the front. And then when you're working, this was a steep slope. And when you're working there and you just have a little excavator, there's only so many places you can put your dirt, and you're like building benches out of your dirt just to get rid of it, just to work. So we did one of the smaller precast blocks. Yours wasn't around here at the time. And I was setting those. No, you missed out on that. But you got a podcast after the deal.
Two podcasts.
Winning.
So we're setting those blocks. Like, I was maxed out on my reach, maxed out on my weight.
That's
and
right.
I just got to the point where I was getting used to, by the time we did the third one, I just know that machine's going to tip a little bit as I'm setting those. And,
Every
land it.
time.
and then you get it down. And those were, I forget what they were. They might have been like 18. I don't know. But we were maxing it out. But again, perfect application for this type of product. The lightweight, to get that size of a product in that weight in those areas is just a very, very big benefit.
Yeah,
being
putting
a
8 square
contractor.
feet with a small little Kubota is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no labor.
I think, I shot some video this summer on a job. From the time the excavator picked up the block to swinging it and setting it into place, it was 30 seconds. Boom, there's 8 square feet. So,
Done.
Yeah. We didn't even touch. We are now, but the labor is just. That's by one of the biggest
Huge.
gravity walls and labor is where we're seeing all the growth right now.
and it's almost a problem because the jobs suck up the block so fast. You're,
a good
you need
problem.
another load tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't be whining about your good problems. Right?
No, great problems.
It's got plenty of stock, everybody.
Just want to make sure don't let anybody down.
Yeah. Everybody is welcome. New customers are welcome.
I'm sure Alan will sell me more forms tomorrow.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Just for you, Rick.
Yeah. And then I guess the other part to my lakefront, the dilemmas we had in the lakefront applications was erosion. Saw a lot of walls go in and a lot of walls come down. None of ours, thankfully. Ours always held, but guys would do little like stacked like fieldstone walls, and the next year they're all washed out. I've seen smaller segmented block walls get washed out. So it's very key when you're doing that to make sure you're keyed in down below the lake level and get it locked in good. But then also that the wall can take the abuse of the waves. Even residential lakes now, like with the wakeboard boats and the different boats are out there.
Beating.
They really just take a beating. And the one wall that we put up, it's in the water and it hasn't moved an inch. But you can't do that with other lighter weight products that can get down to those locations.
Yeah. We need more guys like you building walls on those lakefronts.
That's right.
Yeah.
I retired though.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, poorly constructed retaining walls make all retaining walls look bad.
They do.
They really
do. We do want the industry to do a good job. There's no doubt.
Another big thing with the water applications too is ice.
Yeah, rip wrap in front.
Yeah, you do want to put some buffer there because the ice is going to grab anything you put there in the wintertime, and the water fluctuates. So, just put some chunky stone down at the base of that wall to protect it even more.
Yeah. It just breaks up that ice when it comes into freeze thaw. You need that breakup for sure. And lots of drainage. If you're putting a lakefront wall, as much drainage as you can put behind that wall, all the way back to the excavation point, you got it. Make sure you put it in because that's what's going to save your
because
your
it
wall.
comes in and out. It's got to go in and out.
Yeah,
And
water's got to come.
the hollow core block filled with clean gravel allows that water to rise and fall and go in and out more easily.
It's a permeable structure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Good deal. Any other pitches on your block you want to make?
It looks great.
It does look good.
It looks pretty
sharp.
awesome. Yeah.
We had Barsacco give us a little demo on staining today and did a few different colors. I know, we get asked about that all the time. I try to tell contractors that it's not hard and you can do it. And we kind of proved that today. Shouldn't be intimidated. It's a great upsell, I would say, for a contractor.
Took no time.
I would go do it. Just put some stain in a sprayer, hit it, and when it dries, seal it. I don't think you could really, really screw it up. I'm sure you want to practice before you go do a big high profile job, but it looks so much more natural than you could get so creative with it with the colors, but it looks more natural than a solid gray color block or something of that nature.
An integral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the staining component is pretty awesome, if you ask me. I mean, you can take just a plain gray block, and when the job is done, it's brown, it's gray, it's whatever you want it to be. So that's pretty cool, and it looks really good, whether it's bare or stain.
Yeah, bare or stain. The bare whitish concrete wall with that texture. Love it when it picks up the shadows.
It just ages
pops
really nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, love it when it kind of gets those different browns and tans kind of from the natural weathering.
Yeah.
Then it looks real good.
Yeah, I think, as far as the block goes, I mean, I think we just got to get guys using it. As soon as they use it once, they're like, yeah, this is awesome. I'll never go back. So it's just a matter of getting those first time users trying it once. Once you use it once, you're like, oh yeah, it was way easier than what I thought, and I loved it. Being able to cut it because it's hollow core. As much as we don't want to say cut, nobody wants to do cutting. It's never something that, if somebody goes out and says, yeah, can't wait to go cut that concrete block.
Yeah, a 2-foot block. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But because it's hollow, it's not quite so bad. And there's always scenarios where you're like, oh, I got to cut it. I have no choice here.
And it's not like Magnum Stone just came out a few years ago either.
No, it's been around for 15 years now.
15 years.
Yeah.
So, but just getting people to know it's out there. That's the big thing. I mean, there's obviously other players that are well known in the markets, and sometimes people just get comfortable and stuck on what they know. But like Alan said, people use it, or engineer uses your software or deals with it. I haven't really seen people go back to their old stuff. I really haven't. I mean, we've got several great testimonials recently from guys that I only use this block, and then for whatever reason they finally tried it and they're like, I love this block. I love it. So
that's all it took.
Yeah. That's good.
So obviously you guys want to sell blocks all over the place, but do you have, a strategic plan in place for new territories, new locations that you're going to, or are you guys just kind of taking it as it comes, on your side?
On the licensing side, we're kind of trying to be a bit strategic on filling holes where we're not currently in. There's markets that are a little bit more difficult just because of the nuances of the markets. But we're growing at a nice steady pace where we can keep up, which I think is really important. I want to be able to service our producers and not kind of overgrow and overpromise, underdeliver. I'd rather do the opposite. But yeah, we're focusing on everywhere, and we're getting some really good strategic partners, we'll say, as well, on the engineering side and the grid side. They kind of have a national presence, so we can start to feed jobs to our producers. That's kind of been a new sort of strategy that we're working on, and made some new hires as well that are, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're growing quickly. We've got a nice, a really young crew that's full of energy, and we're ready to take on the market and really grow this with our producers. That's kind of thing that I love doing.
Your website has fantastic information, documents, case studies. Of course, the software that's free.
Yeah.
And then, for people who do download that software, Magnum Stone sends us the lead if that lead came from our market, and then we can follow up on that and then help them through the rest of the process. You'll be at the Precast show in Denver.
Yeah, we'll be at the Precast show. We've got a booth and waving the banners around. Should be fun. go see all the guys again. It's always a really good time.
Yeah. And doing quite a bit on the marketing side to support the producers as well.
Yeah.
Social media, email campaigns. It's strong.
Yeah, it's significant.
And you got to have good producers.
Got
How's
great
Rick doing
producers.
for you? Is he doing
Rick's
all right?
doing awesome. These guys are a machine. Yeah.
He
And they
yells at
started
us
out
sometimes.
and they started out really small, right? They're
Really
like,
small.
we this is a stretch. We just, let us start
Big
out
jump.
with a small package, and we don't necessarily love doing that. We're like, you got to believe in people, right? And we saw what Rick and the vision that his team had. We're like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. And he's quadrupled in size, if not more, in the past 3 years, and still can't keep up.
Chugging along. It happened quickly, but it's easy to market and talk about and sell something you really believe in. Like from sales to the guys in the shop, they believe in this. I mean, they get such a kick out of, here comes another 10 molds. Where are we going to put them? And, we call it the Magnum Stone Mile. It's really awesome to see, for sure.
Yeah.
You couldn't shut down your shop for our event today. We had to set up a tent outside of Rick's production facility because they could not logistically shut that place down for the time it would take to prep for this event. So they just put a tent out back, and the guys are in there probably making Magnum Stone right now.
Yeah, they are.
We cannot stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. For us, it's all about relationships too. And that was probably the biggest factor in deciding to go with Magnum Stone to produce it. Vern and Alain came here and were kind enough to believe in us and let us get started. You didn't want to license somebody that didn't make much product for you when you maybe could have found somebody bigger. But, it was a big investment for us. And again, we believed in the product, and we do a good job of marketing it, but the product's out there selling itself too. So,
and it kind of changed your business too, right? The focus of it completely flipped your.
Very much. I mean, it's a major focus of our business now. For some of the other utilitarian products, it's very much a niche for us.
Yeah. Engineered walls are not they're not an easy sell, and they're difficult from beginning to end, but they can be pretty good business.
Yeah, there's a lot of effort goes into once you first talk to a contractor, and there's a lot of steps before that wall gets completed.
Oh yeah,
with takeoffs and engineering, and on the contractor side, permitting, or a lot of questions. Our salespeople are out there all the time with new contractors because they never used it before. But we like to provide that service and help guys get started.
Yeah,
it doesn't take them long though.
No, you guys have done a phenomenal job.
Thank you. Well, we want to keep growing it. We really do. We enjoy the whole retaining wall world.
Yeah, there is something about it. I mean, even when we did it, it's just kind of fun to step back and look at those projects and the scale of the projects that you guys are able to complete. With the Magnum Stone product, it is pretty cool. And
yeah, it is quite the feat. There's some walls out there that I'm astonished at that they've done and are still doing. They're doing one right now I think it's over a mile long in New Zealand.
A mile?
10 feet high.
Wow.
How come I don't have that job?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
One of the first big walls we did, I think, I don't even know the count, but it was big. It was a big wall at a church in Clark Summit. And that was just a lot of block picking up and putting down, picking up, segmented
all
wall.
day.
Yeah.
It was, I want to say it was like 5,000 block maybe. It was a big wall. So
not as big as the Great Wall of Clark Summit.
Not as big as the Great Wall of Clark Summit. Did we want to talk about the Great Wall of Clark Summit? Did we want to?
I don't think we do we?
It is still standing as of today.
The contentious wall of Clark Summit.
I for one think it should have been Magnum Stone, and I am not being paid to say that.
No, it looked like it was dark the other night when I went through there. It looks like they fixed that failure finally.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I haven't.
It was hard to tell in the dark.
And it's an SRW.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
not familiar with the brand or anything, but
we don't want to see any failures. Sure. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it is SRW. We don't want to see those. They're bad.
It makes everybody look bad.
Yeah,
it's a tall wall with a lot of earth above it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Alan, tell us a bit about your contact information, how people across the country can find your products.
You know what? Magnumstone.com is probably the easiest way. Just reach out to any of the contact forms, and our team will take care of you really quick. If you want to get a hold of me, it's Alan with an I, ALAIN, at Cornerstone Wall Solutions. Happy to help anybody out there that's looking for a solution that we can help them with.
A lot of resources there.
A lot of resources, yeah.
And Rick, how do our listeners get a hold of you and your team?
Again, great place to start, mastersconcrete.com. Of course, through Instagram at Masters Concrete, Facebook, LinkedIn. We have all those avenues. And then, of course, just pick up the phone and call our main number, and we'll get our salespeople out to see you. Love to be hands-on on the job.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty active on LinkedIn too, actually. That's a good resource for us because we kind of hit up the engineers and the contractors alike. Not so big on the other ones.
Well, after the last time on the podcast, you asked me the same question, and I just said the website, and my wife was listening to it. And she's like, and Facebook and Instagram. I
she
forgot.
didn't correct you, did she?
No, I forgot. But you're right, honey. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
it's important.
Just Google Masters Concrete, and you get there somehow, some way.
Yeah, if you want it, you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find it. You'll find it. Well, guys, today's event was really great. I'm glad we were able to put this together. Thank you for coming down from Canada and spending
pleasure.
the time and talking to everybody. And Rick, thanks for hosting us and having us out. And
well, thank you for being a part of it. Thank you to Tier Zero and Alan for coming all the way here from Calgary, and Powell's equipment sponsor, and Barsaco from Kingdom Products. Really appreciate it. It was quite a heavy lift in the short time once we got this bright idea to do this, but
5-6 weeks.
It was worthwhile. It was great.
It was good.
It was
They got a good
worthwhile.
turnout.
Very nice day. So obviously a lot of guys were still on the job site working, but great to have the crew here that we did, and hopefully people learned a lot and you guys make some new contacts. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for jumping on the
Thanks,
podcast.
Take care, man.
Take care.